Hey, what's up everybody? All my legacy leaders, Bob here, your virtual upline. Today we are going to be talking about duplication, creating duplication on your team. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what I believe to be the number one area, the number one place that duplication breaks down for people. And that is training. And more specifically, training new consultants, new business partners, onboarding. Onboarding and training new people is the biggest cause of duplication not happening on your team. So I want to give you a crash course on this. And I know that we do have a lot of brand new legacy leaders here in the program. And so I want to give a big welcome to all of you if you're joining us here live for the first time. We couldn't be more excited to have you here in the group. And I think that this topic is so important. I really wanted to address it. For those of you that have been around a while, this is going to be a great reminder, and hopefully maybe I give you a couple of different ways to look at this. Because look, the process of us creating systems and training on our team, it's never done, right? We're always looking at, as a leader, how can we make our systems simpler? How can we make them work more efficiently so that we can empower more people to succeed? And what you'll find, we spend a ton of time here in this membership, in this program, on helping you implement and create systems for your business, because as a leader, one of your number one responsibilities is to make sure that you have the simple systems in place to be able to create an environment that other people can go out and create success. So we'll be spending a lot of time in that area. Before I get into the message today, the details, I want to give you a heads up. In my Facebook reminder message this morning, I sent you a PDF, a link to a PDF that we created that has the details of our Leadership Accelerator program, which will actually be starting next week. This is a 30-day kind of, for lack of a better term, our onboarding training that we're going to be walking all of our new members through, and any existing members are also welcome to join us. But inside of that PDF, it's a link in my Facebook message I sent to all of you as a reminder. It will also post it in the group here, are the dates and the times. It's a 3-part training series. The trainings will be happening every other Wednesday starting next week. And the off weeks, the in-between weeks, we're going to do accountability check-in and Q&A sessions. So there'll be 6 sessions all said and done. But the goal is, by the time we're done those 30 days, it's going to be a crash course on leadership. And it's going to be getting you up to speed to the point where you need to be to really be able to go out and serve your team and create the results that you want. So really excited for that. But let's talk about this idea of duplication. So there are really, to me, when we talk about duplication, there's really 2 different phases of duplication. And there's 2 really important things to understand. These are, as a leader, these are your leverage points to create duplication. And if you don't know what duplication means, it just means that your team is growing without you being involved in every little detail, right? Because some of you are at the point where your team is growing, but it's because you just are willing it to happen. You're involved with every training conversation, every closing call. That is not sustainable. Number one, you're going to burn out. Number 2, there's only one you, so you're going to severely limit your growth. And if your team, and many of you have probably experienced this before, if your team starts growing too quickly and you don't have the right foundation in place of systems and what I'm going to be teaching you now, then eventually it's only a matter of time before that growth starts to slow. Because if you don't have the systems or the people in place to continue to support that growth, eventually it's going to fall apart. And this is the place that a lot of us find ourselves. It's this constant, this moments of momentum and growth, and it looks like things are going the right way, but then it all starts to tail off, or you just physically get burned out and overwhelmed because you can't do it anymore. This is not how you should be going about building a business. You need to be more intentional. So here's the first of 2 leverage points, and I'm going to really focus. I'm not going to go deep on each of them, but I just want you to understand from a high level things that you should be focused on. Number 1 is training. Training your new people, onboarding, is by far, that's the biggest place where duplication breaks down. Because we do all this work to bring in new team members. If we don't have a system for training them that is simple, that is clearly defined, that is action-oriented, then it's eventually going to break down. So I want to talk really briefly about this idea of a system for onboarding. So the biggest mistake that a lot of you are making when it comes to training your new people is you are making the process too difficult. You are overwhelming people with too much information. Look, I will tell you this. Less is more. Less is more when it comes to onboarding. One of my mentors, and I never forgot this was just something that always stuck with me. He said, Bob, when you bring in a new person, if you can't fit your entire training for them on the front and the back of a single sheet of paper, you are teaching them too much. And I think a lot of times as leaders, we lose sight of the fact that it's very easy for new people to get overwhelmed. They're already coming into the business with a high level of excitement, but a very low level of belief and confidence. And if we start dumping too much information on them, it's going to make them less likely to do the very thing that we know is most important, which is taking action. See, and this is very dangerous because you got to understand, as a sponsor, as a leader, as an upline, your new person is going to be bombarded with information, right? They're getting information from you as their sponsor. They might be getting information from your upline because they're a part of a bigger Facebook group. They're going to be getting emails from your company with information. It's coming from every angle, and the risk of them falling into the trap of consuming versus producing is very high. And there's a really big lesson there. You must make sure that your training for your new people is simple, but it must be action oriented. You must be giving people, here's what I want you to think about. Give them just enough information to get them feeling excited and a little bit confident, and get them taking action. Because every day that goes by that your new person is not out there contacting people in a way that you've taught them that's the right way, doesn't mean they're going to do it the right way, but they should at least know what that right way is. But every day that goes by that they're not out there trying to take action, I'm telling you, the likelihood of them being successful is going to go down. Because what starts happening is they focus on consuming content and training and videos. And it's like we have good intentions, right? We're like, oh, and you need to watch this guy's lives, and you need to read this book, and you need to listen. And before we know it, our new person is becoming a professional learner, and they're not doing anything. Well, here's what I will tell you. And we've talked about this concept before. When you're talking and you're thinking about onboarding and new rep training, I want you to imagine this kind of like this line. It's like an imaginary line, but it really does exist. And it's called the I quit line. Your new person starts out on the wrong side of it. And what that means is it's way easier for them to quit than it is for them to stick around and stay. Right? It's way easier for a new person to say, yeah, they're not invested into this thing yet. They don't have a team. They don't have other people counting on them. Most people come in, they're like, yeah, let's see if this thing works. I can think of a couple of people that might want to do this. Like, this is the mentality of most new people. You must understand this as a leader. So if we make the path of them getting in and getting into action, if we cloud that with all these different steps and things, I'm telling you, most people are going to be done before they even try. They're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to feel like that there's more to learn or more to do, and they're not going to do anything. See, your job as a leader is to get them over that I quit line as soon as possible. And what happens is when they get over that I quit line, what it means is it's now harder for them to quit than it is for them to stay. And the only thing that gets them over the I quit line, like the main thing, yes, getting them plugged into your team, getting them in the Facebook group, having them maybe get on the phone with some other people and hear some stories. They start buying into the culture of the company and the team. That helps. But the thing you really need to do is they need to see a result. They need to get a couple of customers. Right? They get a couple of customers, they start getting some confidence, they see other people willing to support them, but the number one thing you can do is get them their first recruit. Get them their first recruit, and I promise you this, they ain't going nowhere. They are not going anywhere, because now, even if they're not sure they believe in it, and even if they're not sure that they understand it, if they see that sucker working, they're gonna get excited. So how, as a sponsor, as a leader, can we increase the likelihood that they're able to get that first recruit, get those handful of customers? We gotta get them reaching out. We gotta get them taking action immediately. Look, your new training for a person should not require anything more than a 1-hour meeting between you and them to give them the basics of them getting out and achieving some sort of simple 30-day goal. Like, that's it. They don't need to know every ingredient in every product. They don't need to know every detail of your compensation plan. They don't need to know the mission statement of your company on day one. They need to know, what is my initial goal? Right? Almost every company has a 30-day goal. Show me what I need to do. And most of the time, that 30-day goal is tied to them getting their initial investment back. What is my 30-day goal? Help me find something to get me excited about this, right? When we talk about like helping them identify their why, help them find some sort of simple goal that they can go out and shoot for, right? Like, I don't want to spend half an hour like having an emotional counseling session with them, trying to have, they're like, your why has to make you cry. Like, that's great. But I don't need to make you cry in the first training session with you. I just need to find something that you want in the short term, next 60 to 90 days, show you the first step in getting it, and show you how to go out and share what we have with people. Give you simple language, prepare you for some of the things that I know are going to happen. Look, you're going to talk to friends and family that are going to be negative. You're going to talk to people that are going to say no, that you expect to help you. Every single one of us has have to go through this. It's an emotional roller coaster. But here's the thing. There's a system. I'm going to be here supporting you. And all you got to do is go out and share. And it is a growing process. And here's the language we use. Here's the message that we send. And if somebody comes back to you, here's what you're going to say. And as a matter of fact, here's a good idea. Get them sending messages in that initial session, right? If you're training somebody on a Zoom, because remember I talked about it needs to be action oriented. When I used to do these sessions, my goal was not just to get everybody to feel good. My goal was at the end of it, when you were ready, I was like, all right, let's go. Right? Like, what if during your initial onboarding training on a Zoom session, after you taught them the script, you had them send out messages and they were screen sharing with you and you could literally walk them through conversations. Now, I'll tell you one thing. That's not an easy thing to get people to do. It's not comfortable for you as a leader to push someone to do something that they don't really want to do, but this is what leadership is about. Leadership is about influence. And your job is to influence people to get in, get moving immediately, stop overwhelming them, start moving them into action. And I'm telling you, if you can systematize this, like if you need to have a document for onboarding. You need to have all your steps very clearly spelled out, front and back of a sheet of paper. Here it is. So that if I'm a brand new person and your team is growing so fast that there's literally not enough people to keep up with it, I could be like, well, I'm not sure what to do, but I printed up the onboarding document, the training document that's in the group, and I just signed you up. Why don't I sit down with you and we'll just walk through this document together? Like, that is the level of specificity and simplicity that you need in your onboarding. I'm pretty impressed. Those were two very big words to put back to back. But this is how you need to treat training your new people. Now, some of you, I see a lot of you are asking questions. You're like, okay, I get it, but how do we do this? Well, we actually have a training here in the membership that will help you exactly with this. What I did, we did a master class, and I basically taught all of you my old system for onboarding. So like, this is what I used to do on my team when I was building a team, and I taught you, and the master class is called the 2-7-30 game plan. The number 2-7-30 game plan. Every single one of you can access this right now. It is in the mobile app or the membership area, but listen, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, do that. It's so much easier to get the trainings in the free app that we give you as a member. But Lacey, I'll come back to that question in a second. But inside of the membership area or the mobile app, if you go to the leadership and training category, the 2-7-30 onboarding, it's in there. We did a training on that. We have an entire implementation guide where I walk you through step by step, and we actually have examples of forms. My form that I used to use, we have some of our members' forms that they created from this training. So that is something. So if you're like, I need help in this area, then I recommend you take some time to dig into that onboarding training, because it will literally change your business. So Lacey asked a question, and I saw a couple of you asking this question, so I want to answer it. The question was, what if somebody comes in and they're like a kidnapper, or they're not ready to share? Well, then you're not doing this with them. See, here's what you got to realize. Just because somebody signs into your business doesn't mean they're closed yet. Doesn't mean they're ready to go to work. Some people will just buy as the next step of evaluating your business. So if I bring you in and you're like, I'm not ready to share yet, then I better figure out what's holding you back, because you're not in yet. Just because you signed up. Look, just because you're in the business doesn't mean the business is in you. So if you tell me I'm not ready to share, well, then I might say, hey, great, I'm sensing from you that there's some hesitation. So, hey, tell me what's keeping you from sharing. What do you need to see, or what do you need to hear in order for you to feel comfortable sharing this with people you know? I ask that question, and then I shut up, and I wait for you to tell me. And if you learn here's the key. As leaders, you have to learn how to ask better questions, and you have to learn how to listen. Leaders are traditionally terrible listeners. I'm going to say that again. Leaders are terrible listeners, because we're so headstrong on just getting people to buy into our agenda and getting people to do things the way that we want them to do. We never take the time to really listen, to understand where people are, to connect with them, to then be able to move them to where we want them to go. So if you're like, I'm not ready to take action, or somebody's like, they're not actually like working, I need to find out why. I need to say, Adele, look, help me here. You said that you wanted this, but you're not actually doing anything. I want to help you. I want to support you, but I just need to know where you are. Tell me what's keeping you from going out and doing this. And wait for them to tell you. And you know what? Some people are just going to feed you a line of BS, and they're never going to do anything. And those people are a waste of your time. You should not be spending any time with people that are not willing to commit to their own business, because every minute you spend with someone that's not committed, that just wants to complain and suck your time, is a minute you are robbing someone else on your team that does need that and deserve that support. But the question goes back to, how are you working with people? And do you have a system in place? Because this is going to be, I'm telling you, this is going to be, of everything you're going to learn in this membership, onboarding, coming up with a system, a simple system for onboarding, is going to be your greatest leverage point as a leader to create more duplication in your team. If you do nothing else, and you just put, like, some of you have nothing. If you just come up with something, there is no right, like this, your system's better. There's no, it's just a system. Start with something. Give people something to give them the confidence and belief that they can do this. And that alone is going to double or triple your success rate when it comes to seeing people go out and create success. So let's just look, I want to keep it at that. And I want you, if you need some help when it comes to onboarding, go check out our 2-7-30 game plan. It's in the membership area or the mobile app. We've got everything you need in there. And you don't have to look, I'm not saying you have to do it exactly the way that I teach, because some of you have systems already that just need a little bit of tweaking. So take what you learned from me, figure out, hey, maybe we can implement these things to make it better, but I promise you, this is going to be a big thing for you. And listen, all this other stuff that I'm talking about, like becoming a better listener, learning how to coach people, learning how to be, to practice tough love, we call it. These are the very things that we will be spending our time on here in this program as we go through this year. I'm going to be helping you develop a lot of the soft skills of leadership. A lot of the things like being a better listener, how to influence and increase your influence with people, developing your confidence. This is the reason why you're here, is to help me have you grow as a leader on the inside so that you can better support people and have the confidence to do all these things we're talking about on the outside. So go check out the onboarding training if you need some help. And hey, quick reminder, tomorrow is the last day for open enrollment for this. So tomorrow night at midnight, we close enrollment down. So this will be your last chance to join. And just a heads up, spread the word to your teams. There's a very good possibility, we're not certain yet, but we may not be opening enrollment up again until the summer. So this will be your last shot for a while to get into the membership. So spread the word to your team. Tomorrow night at midnight is the last chance to join. Legacy Leadership Academy is the website to send them to. And, make sure you spread the word. So thanks everybody for being here. Hope you'll be getting a lot out of the membership. If you joined late, make sure you go watch the beginning. I think this was a really important video for everybody to hear. And hope everybody is having a great week. So we'll talk soon. Take care.